Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another episode. I know it's been a minute. Haven't made a video in a while, but I've been doing a lot of traveling. But hey, we here now, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Um, LSU beat a stubborn Texas A&M team yesterday. That was a really in the first half. It was a really close game. Texas A&M definitely came in with um, a good recipe on how to try to beat this LSU team, and they did that by trying to limit the possessions from the LSU offense. Right, the Jaden Daniels and that LSU offense is the number one scoring, and I think the number one total offense in the country. And everyone knows the best way to try to um, slow down a dynamic attack like LSU's offense is, limit the amount of times they get to touch the ball, keep the offense on the sideline. And Texas A&M came in and they did that in the first half. Um, Texas A&M was playing with that third string quarterback, um, and a lot of freshmen all over the field. They had a freshman at running back. They had a freshman at middle linebacker. Um, so, you know, Texas A&M has a lot of talent on that roster, and I would consider it a rivalry game. Every year, Texas A&M and LSU they get after each other. Texas A&M also was probably, tired of hearing about Jaden Daniels possibly winning the Heisman. They definitely didn't want Jaden Daniels to come out and perform on them to wrap up the Heisman, although I already think Jaden Daniels has the Heisman in his hands. But they didn't want to hear that, and they didn't want to be a victim of Jaden Daniels having a Heisman performance on them. Plus, Jimbo got fired. They were playing for the interim um, head coach. After the game, a couple of Texas A&M players got on social media and pretty much was pleading for the Texas A&M, executives to hire the interim head coach. So we have to see what happens. But Texas A&M was not going to lay over. Was not going to just lay down and lay over and let LSU do what they wanted to do on them. And as fans, we can't expect LSU to blow out every opponent, especially an SEC opponent, and especially an opponent like Texas A&M that I believe 2 years ago had the greatest number one recruiting class ever in college football, if I'm not mistaken. So they got some talent on that roster. But moving to the LSU side of the ball, like I said, the offense started off slow. Texas A&M was throwing a few curveballs at Jaden Daniels and that offense, but in the second half they got to figure it out. They got it figured out, and Jaden Daniels pretty much put the team on his back and got the W. Now, the reason why I say he put the team on his back is because the defense was trying their hardest, man. The LSU defense was trying their hardest to keep the game close. They was trying their hardest to potentially um, take the Heisman away from Jaden Daniels, and the defense was trying their hardest just to um, eliminate LSU from possibly winning 10 games, right? So LSU is in a bowl game. It's looking like it's going to be Notre Dame, and if LSU beat whoever they play, whether it's Notre Dame or whoever, they're going to have 10 wins. And this is going to be the second time under Brian Kelly that LSU was able to get 10 wins. But the defense was trying to, see that two of those goals was not going to happen, right? Jane Daniels don't win the Heisman, and they don't get 10 wins, but they got 10 wins. I mean, sorry, they got the victory versus Texas A&M, and they're in position to get 10 wins. They just got to handle business during the bowl game. Um, a lot of a lot of LSU fans are wanting Matt House, the defensive coordinator at LSU, to be fired before the bowl game. Um, I I'm 50-50. I think that we should keep him. They're gonna have probably 2 to 3 weeks, if not a month, to prepare for whoever they play. Um, and that should be enough time for them to really coach up some of those players on the defense side of the ball, maybe a few guys that's banged up, that's nicked up, to possibly come back and get healthy. And then I think they should let Matt House go. I think they definitely should find someone else, but I think they should um, keep him around for the bowl game, unless they have someone else in mind, right? So say they went out and hired someone like Jim Leonard, right? I'm not saying that's who they're going to hire. I'm just throwing out a name. Um, and they already agreed to terms, right? Then they could say, okay, Matt House, we'll let you go. Um, Now, you don't expect a new defensive coordinator to come in right away and coach up this defense, right? Because they're probably going to bring in a new system. But I'm just saying, if you already got someone already agreeing to terms, then yeah, let Matt House go, because it'd be kind of awkward having two defensive coordinators in the building. But yeah, I think LSU needs to look for a new defensive coordinator. And for certain players on the defense, right? If you are a underclassman like Mason Smith, um, you don't need to go to the NFL draft. You need to come back and get better, right? People like um, uh, Brian Burns and Omar Spates, right? Very disappointing seniors, right? They disappointing seniors, right? Brian Burns has been around for a while. Omar Spates has been around for a while, and those guys was just pretty much just out of sight, out of mind. We saw them on the field, but we had no clue what they was doing on the field. And I don't know. It's just disappointing to see. I had a lot of high hopes for Omar Spates. I did a video about him saying how dynamic he was at Oregon State and how LSU was getting a very stout linebacker, and that was not true. At least against in coverage, he was pretty good in the run every now and then, but um, he was terrible in coverage. Right. Um, Brian Kelly is going to have to do a lot to uh, encourage Harold Perkins not to transfer. I strongly feel, I have no sources, but I strongly feel that Harold Perkins may be looking to transfer. Right, he's just not been put in a position that um, he needs to be in to really blossom. Right, I felt like he was playing more coverage than anything. He only had 5 sacks this year when he could have easily um, got to close to 10, if not break you know, the sack record for the season for LSU, right? So Brian Kelly's going to have to figure that out. He's definitely going to have to shake up the defensive staff. Um, uh, Texas is coming to town next year, and Oklahoma. So, um, you know, LSU can't afford to be having such bad performances on defense, because Oklahoma and Texas are no slouches. Now next year, um, I don't think I gotta look at the schedule again, but LSU does not play Oklahoma and Texas. They play one or the other, unless Oklahoma or Texas was in position to win the SEC. But um, I think I think they only play Oklahoma next year. They don't play Texas. So, but still in all, they're still going to be in the SEC, and they're still going to be jockeying for really good offensive and defensive recruits. So LSU definitely need to either recruit the high schools like crazy, or recruit the transfer portal, and get some good defensive players in uh, that locker room, so um, they can make a run for the 12-man playoff next season. But yeah, just wanted to hop on here. LSU beat a stubborn Texas A&M team. Jaden Daniels had no turnovers yesterday, passed for 250 plus yards, a couple touchdowns. I think that he has the Heisman in the bag. Bo Nix and Michael Penix have to play each other in the Pac-12 championship. So that could, determine some things. Hopefully, both of them have a horrible game. Somebody has to lose that game, but hopefully, both of them have a horrible game. Fingers crossed for JD. Um, and Jaden Daniels is now in the history books as the fifth best quarterback all times in SEC history. So he's on there with like Tim Tebow and Cam Newton and Joe Burrow, right? He's the fifth greatest quarterback of all time in SEC history. So kudos to Jaden Daniels, man. Kudos to Jaden Daniels. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. Sorry I've been absent, but consider subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. Let me know in the comments below who you would like to see Brian Kelly bring in as the next defensive coordinator, and whether or not LSU is going to get 10 wins versus whoever they play in the bowl game. All right, I'm out.